Welcome to another Up Close and Personal. I'm Jason Schwartz. You probably know me, or if you don't, aloha.
I know him.
This is GIL REBOLLEDO. Now I say that slowly, REBOLLEDO, right?
Correct.
GIL is running in, what race are we? This is State House District.
Yes, I'm running for State House of Representatives, District 8, which is covers the areas from Waikapu through Wailuku all the way to Kahakaloa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, many of you don't know, but District 8 has had a fixture in office for a while.
Yes.
There's a man that many of us know. He was Speaker of the House, and he was Speaker of the House, and then he was Speaker Emeritus and Speaker of the House again. And he's been here a long time. His name is Souki,
yeah.
who's a wonderful man. So
He is.
I know you know and like him.
Yeah.
What brought the passion in you to say this is the time to run?
Well, you know, I don't think the decision from a sensible person comes right away. You know, it takes a period of time and certain instances in your life, you know, to make you decide to run for office. But you know, I've been so interested in politics, I think, since I was a little boy, to tell you the truth. And I've always kept up with current events, and you know, even as a young boy, I was very unusual. I would read the newspaper.
Are you from this area? You grew up in this area?
No, actually, I was born in Los Angeles, Compton.
Oh.
East LA.
I actually used to work in the county of LA and know Compton. Quite an interesting area.
And we also migrated to Nevada. I lived in Las Vegas off the old strip. And also in Seattle, Washington, where my dad became an engineer for Boeing. And I think one of the most memorable moments I had was we had, as a family, the opportunity to tour the very first 747 that was ever built.
Wow.
Before it was even flown, we got a chance to go on the plane and actually, you know, tour it and check it out. I used the bathroom. I was one of the first ones to use the bathroom on the 747.
Now that's something memorable.
But you know.
So you moved to Maui a while ago, though, because I know you talked to like you've been here a while.
Yeah, my mother and dad, my mother and father met on Maui. My mother was from Pukali. She was born in just above Lahaina, and my dad moved here from Honolulu, and they both met and eloped to California, where I was born, and we did our thing over there. But my mom had become ill, and so you know, we made a family decision to move back to Maui.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, Maui's a richer place for it.
I love Maui. Boy.
And I know that you are a family man.
Yes.
You have you talked to your family about what this means to them? Are they prepared to have you going off to the State House?
My wife is a wonderful woman, you know. She's a Maui girl, and she supports me in whatever endeavor I do. We argue behind closed doors, but she does. I think that I've married a wonderful woman, and she has been reciprocated by marrying a wonderful man. So we do support each other in many ways. My son, who's in high school, I told him my intentions to run for office, and he said, "Dad, does this mean I'm going to be famous?"
That's what he said?
I said, yes, son. Yes, son.
Absolutely.
And so I said, go for it, Dad. You know, he's a good boy. He just finished his freshman year at Baldwin, and he had straight A's. He's on the track team and the football team, and he's He's everything a father would want from a son, you know.
That's wonderful to hear.
My 2 daughters are doing well, and I have 4 grandkids
Wow.
who have me wrapped around their fingers. Of
I was
course.
going to say, you look young, but you've had years of experience. So.
I have 4 grandkids who
4 grandkids, wow.
wonderful kids. So yeah.
So what's the passion that's motivating you? Obviously, like you said,
Yeah.
you don't come upon the decision to run
No.
quickly. What's making you want to run?
Well, in my years in business here on Maui, for one of the things that has been a benefit for me is to meet a lot of the community people. I've run a number of restaurants and a number of different businesses here. I was very good friends with Hannibal Tavares, Linda Lingle, George Ito, just a myriad of different people who were involved in the community in some respects. So we built relationships over the years, and it was very interesting to hear a lot of the things that they had to say that they were involved with, you know. And I did call on a couple of the mayors for a couple of favors here and there, and they, you know, it's interesting, you know, getting their
What kind of
perspective.
favors? You kill somebody and they get you out of jail?
No.
Nah.
No, opening different businesses and stuff, you know,
Oh, I see.
they have a way of talking to people and
They do.
convincing them of certain things. But Linda Lingle was I tell you, it was a very interesting time meeting her. My family and I went to the War Memorial Stadium for a 4th of July celebration.
Okay.
And we were sitting right in the middle of the stadium. And I looked over and I saw this lady shaking hands with everybody. And it's like, I wonder who this lady is. Oh, and then I thought, oh my gosh, she's coming our way. And she eventually made her way to us. And I introduced myself, and she introduced herself, and it was Linda.
Was she mayor at the time? Or what?
No, she was actually running for her first position on council.
Oh, I see.
And I introduced myself. I told her I was a teacher. My wife was a teacher, and we were both educators. And she said, well, I'm an educator too. And I went, wow. And, you know, so we started talking story. And shortly after that, the show started. The 4th of July show started. And instead of walking away, she stayed with us. She sat with us, and we watched the 4th of July celebration together. And that really impressed me. You know, this lady who actually could be talking to anybody or be with anybody she wanted to, took the time to
Get to know you a little bit.
sit and watch the show with me and my kids. And we developed a relationship after that. I worked at different areas in different businesses in the community, and Linda would patron them quite often, and I supported her throughout all her campaigns. And of course, she finally became governor, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but maybe a position and things like that causes people to have a memory lapse sometimes, if you know what I mean. But
She changed a little over time, huh?
she did. I think well, it happens to everybody, I think, you know.
Well, but you know, that's a good observation.
Yeah.
But I imagine as you become, well, as your son becomes famous, you'll probably think about changing, but I know you're a very spiritual man, and so.
Well, I did say this, is, you know, I met some long-time Republican people at one of our district elections, and, you know, they're very good friends of mine, but his wife said, "Oh, be careful now. If you're going to be running for office, there's a lot of naughty people out there." And I'm like, like a motherly thing. And I'm like, but her husband went like this, "Mr. Rebelledo, if you run for State House of Representatives, what is it that you have to offer?" I mean,
and what'd you say?
and that's the kind of question that you would get from an old time, long time Republican who has been in the. I guess they call them rhinos now, right? So.
All I know is when you say the word Republican now, you think of a group of 12 people
Right.
that got slaughtered by a guy coming in and
I know.
decimating them all on a national level. So a rhino, to me, you're talking about someone that's kind of dyed in the wool in the old fabric of the party, very judgmental, very slow moving.
Right. Well, this is what I answered him with. We were sitting in at the Maui seaside, and as soon as he asked me that question, "What have you got to offer for the House of Representatives?" And I looked up, and there was a picture window right behind him, and I immediately saw the West Maui Mountains, and I told him, "Turn around and look out at those mountains over there. You see Waikapu? My family all lives. I get family out there. I go there every day. I volunteer at the prison. I volunteer at the homeless shelter. You see that right over there? You see that valley, Iao Valley? My wife and I had our first kiss over there. And not more than 2 years later, in the river, I asked my wife to marry me. You see, Waihe and Kahukuloa, I built my house in Waihe. I have family out there. I've worked out there. That's my home. And you know what I'm going to be bringing to the House of Representatives? All of that. I'm going to be bringing the love I have of my family, the love I have for my friends, and the love I have for where I grew up. And I'm never going to forget who I am or where I'm from. And you know what he did? He reached in his pocket and he pulled out his checkbook. And he said, "Okay, how much do you want?" I told him, "Put your checkbook away. I don't really need your money."
I want cash.
There you go. But,
sounds like other politicians, Reno.
But that's really was from my heart. It was a spontaneous response, but I'll never forget it. Yeah.
Do you have a big effort coming? I know you got a lot of time before our November election, but I'm sure you're going to be out getting to know the people in your district. Have you started going house to house and stuff
Well,
yet?
I know a lot of people in my district already because, of course, I grew up there. I mean, I've built homes there. I've worked on homes. I've worked in businesses. I know a lot of people in my area already. And I think it's just a matter of, for now, I've been having, small meetings here and there, which is small groups of people, and letting them know I'm running. I have signs and things like that, but I haven't put them up yet.
Well, it's early.
I am allowing, I'm not rushing. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
And I know that some of the candidates have told me that they're expecting that in mid-July, when the Maui News comes out with its stuff, all their positions are coming out, and that's when they're going to start to take it seriously. And some of them have primary races,
Right.
so they have to really hustle it up. But you can do this, like you say, not like a rhino, but like the slow but steady
Yeah.
thing to go out there.
So I'm still busy though. This next Saturday I'll be in the Makawa parade. And I've been making a few engagements here and there. I know I'll be involved with the Kapuna luncheon. To tell you the truth though, I've been in the Kapuna luncheon every year You know, I usually end up with one of the groups that play music, or you know, I'm there working at the hotel that they're at, or you know. So I've always been a part of the Kapuna Luncheon, and the Kapunas. Oh my gosh, that's another love. My wife and I, we often go. We're volunteers for the Halimekua Health Services, and we just love going in and talking story with them, and
Bringing people's spirits.
and of course
up.
I was a resident, right? So
When I first met him, actually we met casually, and then suddenly, wasn't very long, maybe a couple of weeks even, you got injured on the job, and I came to saw you at Halimekua. This is a rebuilt man.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, rebuilt from the ground up. That was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I know it was more amazing for you, but you had a really positive spirit,
Yeah.
and it was just really very refreshing, not only to meet you, but see how you really pulled together.
Oh.
What was your secret?
I'll tell you what, you know, when I got out of surgery, the first thing I asked the doctors was, am I going to be able to use my right arm again? Am I going to be able to walk normally again? Because I had broken bones all over my right side. And being a musician, I was very concerned about, am I going to be able to play the piano or guitar? And I was more concerned about that than anything else, you know. And actually I got negative reports. You know, they told me that, well, you probably will not be able to use your arm as well as you can from now on. And you more than likely, you may probably walk with a limp. And so it was really depressing news from the doctors, but
Yeah.
I prayed every single day. And I talked to my bones, and I refused to accept that report. And I every single day, like clockwork, and I would pray, and I would literally talk to myself.
Plus, you had a lot of physical therapy.
Yeah, wonderful people too.
Wonderful people. Isn't it true?
Awesome people, you know, and it was a wonderful environment, and I attribute everything to the fact that now I'm a testimony, and I don't take that lightly. I'm a testimony for people. You know, you can literally change your circumstances with the right attitude and the right spirit. I believe
Yeah.
so.
So hit me up with a couple of your pet issues, because I know that I can ask questions like, what do you think about housing? What are you going to do about the homeless? I can,
Yeah.
but I'd rather think to start where your passions are
Yeah.
and work from there. What
No,
kind of things are important for you that you want to get, quote, accomplished?
Well, you know, of course, Maui is, I think Maui is the most beautiful place in the islands. You know, I was on Oahu a couple months back, and I literally, my wife and I, we were in our car. I literally stopped the car in the middle of the road, and we cried. We just literally cried and looked at what they were doing to Oahu. You know, and I just am set in my heart never to see that kind of development, that kind of irresponsible governing happen on Maui. I cried.
What would you like to not see happen here that you, about the, obviously development happens, but do you have a specific goal? I mean, in this area that we're talking about,
Well,
as
you know,
we look out.
I know one of the main things that's on my heart is to attack homelessness. You know, in the nature of my business, I'm on any given area of the island every day, and everywhere I go now, I see homeless people.
Yeah.
And
What's a little bit, you know, we've heard Gil has been a teacher,
yes,
a musician. you've been a lot of things. What are you working on now? I mean, obviously, you opened up restaurants. What are you doing now?
I'm still a business owner. I own a property management, property maintenance business.
I see.
I'm the associate pastor at my church. I'm always talking with different people about opening different businesses. I assist different realty companies, Cocoa Realty right now, and taking care of commercial properties.
I see.
I volunteer. I'm a volunteer at the Maui Correctional Center. So I go in every week, sometimes twice a week. And I am also a volunteer at the Kahaleakeola Homeless Shelter. And
I'm going to stop you for a second. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I think that this must be a spot where all the loud cars go by. These guys have stereos with the huge bass. I'm shaking, still shaking a little bit. I hope you can hear us all.
You know, it's
So-
interesting. When I first moved here with my mom and dad, when my dad and I first came, from the airport all the way to Wailuku, we didn't see a living soul. There was, this was back in the 70s.
Wow.
You know, I didn't see a car, I didn't see a living person. And I said, Dad, are we really moving here?
Wow, really? Small, huh?
But Maui has developed so much in the past 20, 25 years. It's, I think in some ways it needs to slow down. We need to kind of catch up and concentrate on things that are really more important, you know?
Like?
Well, another area I've been involved with a lot is there's a very good friend of mine on Molokai who runs a natural farm, and I got a chance to meet him at Maluhia Camp, and we spent several days together, and he would enlighten me about things. And you know, with the plantation business coming to an end, and now all this talk about diversified farming and all these other issues, you know, one thing that I'm very disappointed with a lot of our political figures is nobody's concentrating on the more important things. Of course, water is a big issue, but in a lot of these areas, you know, if you put your hand into the soil and you pick up the dirt has literally been killed. It's dead. In many areas, the Aina has been murdered.
You talking the Central Valley mostly, or?
You know, some of the areas, mostly the areas where the sugar plantation industry has been prevalent over decades. You know, and
Yeah, lots of decades.
you know, I've done some investigating, and you know, as early as what I recall and the information that I've looked at, as early as in the early 80s, they were doing studies, you know, on what would happen if the sugar industry were to come to a halt in Hawaii. And in those studies, there were very detailed information given on the dirt. Specifically, all the different chemicals that were infused into the dirt in order to grow their products, and just the way the dirt was treated. And listen, if you're a farmer, besides water, you gotta have good dirt. You gotta have good soil. You know, that is the life blood of a farmer.
So what do you think we can do now?
It's gonna take it's gonna take finances. It's gonna take time for a lot of these areas to be restored, for the dirt to be restored. But my ambitions are high. I really do believe that Maui can become an agriculture giant.
I don't know if you've seen, there's been some, I guess, a fair number of efforts. HCNS has one. I've heard about a couple of other independent ones where people are trying to start different organic farms and are looking to do things with large tracts of land. You have any feeling about, I mean, you say about all they did to the soil.
Well, there's
chemicals in, chemicals out, chemicals. It's like a laboratory.
Right.
Are you at all in touch with any of the groups that think to want to do anything with that, or not all this relates to your seat? I'm just curious.
No. I am I want to stay intricately involved in the development of agriculture on Maui. Because to tell you the truth, like I said, my ambitions are that Maui could be an agricultural giant. Not only can we feed the people here, but we have the potential of growing the best products in the world. We really do. And we can be the whole principles of self-sustainability for our people. I don't think it should stop with just agriculture. I think in our commerce, in almost every aspect of our community, we need to be more self-sustaining. We're in the middle of the ocean. We shouldn't have to depend on outside sources for our viability. I think that we really need to focus, our governing really has to focus more towards our state being able to be self-sustaining. That's what I really feel strongly about. That's a passion that I have.
That's going to be a mighty task.
Yeah.
Because to be self-sustaining, we have to have something to start.
Yeah.
And I almost think of it like the thing that, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but the British decided not to stay part of the European Common Market and the Union. And it is setting the world on its ear. It's an interesting time how things are going to be happening. Independent of all that's going on in the world, we have to figure out how to be self-sustainable.
Yeah.
Whether money goes up or down or left or right. And we have to figure out how to do that pretty quickly, because the world, we know what the Bible says. These may be the end times. But I don't know about you, I'm not ready to go down without a fight.
No, I'm not. I am not going down with a fight. As a matter of fact, that's kind of where I'm at. I see our government in trouble. I seriously do. I mean, when you think of the way that our healthcare system has been handled here, the way our Department of Transportation is doing a very terrible job right now with the rail system. I mean, it is terrible. Our grandchildren and our grandchildren's children are going to be paying for that thing.
You mean the one in Oahu?
Right. Well, we're all paying for it.
Yeah.
They're gonna rate. Right now, I got the headlines from the newspaper yesterday. It's estimated to cost over $10 billion now for this rail, and I see that as it's going to go up unless something is done.
Do you think it's going to be helpful enough to be worth it?
Even people that I've spoken to several people, and I've read studies. What the rail was purposed to do from its inception, they're now saying it's not going to accomplish what it was intended to do, which was, of course, to alleviate the traffic. It's not going to.
Oh boy.
And here's the thing. I would challenge any politician, any governing official on Oahu right now, answer this question to me. What is it going to cost to build this rail? And I will bet you not a single one of them will be able to give us an answer. That is ridiculous. You know, for me, as a man who is involved in building projects, I throw out bids and I follow through with the work and everything. It is ridiculous to enter into a project that you don't know how much it's going to cost, and you can't tell the recipients of that project how much it's going to cost. That is ridiculous. I am totally convinced that politicians are the worst business people in the world.
I don't think you'll find anyone that disagrees with you.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you-
we all,
And you know, the thing that really bugs me.
politicians are in an ideal world.
Yeah.
People want a lot more than the quote we can afford. There's no such thing as a balanced budget, not anymore, I don't see.
No, this bothers me too. You know, they have a project, a similar project in California right now, and they are calling it the same thing. The price is going up. The cost of this project is going up. Exactly the same kind of thing that we're going through in Honolulu. There have been several projects in Europe and Asia, the exact same pattern, where they
So
start.
what do we do with these tunnels now? We turn them into, I don't know, restaurants?
I don't know. You know,
Giant empty tubes? It's a very funny, it's odd. We're faced with, you start something and then you stop in the middle. Well, how do you stop in the middle?
I'll tell you.
We've spent billions already, haven't we?
It's ridiculous. I mean, you've got different officials saying we can't afford to stop, and then you got other ones saying, well, we have to stop. You know, and it's like, you guys, this is a total mess. You know what you need to do? It's common sense. You got a project that's out of control. You stop it. You just stop it completely. It doesn't matter who's going to get hurt. It doesn't matter what the implication, the ramifications are. You need to stop it, and you need to reassess everything, and you need to come to tangible, common sense answers on where to go forward. But these people are refusing to stop. They refused to stop last year. They're refusing to stop now. But now because of public pressure, now I guess they've decided to stop at Middle Street, which is I grew up. I grew up right there.
You know where that is.
I grew up right there. I used to walk home from school right along there all the time. I lived just below Camp School, and I'll tell you what, I did a lot of growing up on Oahu, and I am not kidding you. When I went to Oahu, I cried when I saw what they were doing to that island. I was.
So where is it built now? Is it built from the North Shore down toward Honolulu, or is it being built from Honolulu toward the North Shore?
Well, their intentions are to go all the way to Ala Moana. They really didn't have an answer to that either. They wanted to stop at Ala Moana Shopping Center. Others were saying, well, we need to go to the UH college. It started out in Kapolei at the beach area.
Are any sections done yet? No.
Well, they've got things done all the way up to about where Pearl City is.
Starting from the North Shore coming in.
You can see the big pillars coming up over there, right? Right along Pearl Ridge.
Yeah.
They have these big pillars going along right now.
But nothing's usable? Nothing's functional?
Well, they did some kind of grand opening, and, it's just, I think politicians are trying to cover up, just trying to set up smoke screens. The project is just totally out of control. And we're not talking about thousands or millions of dollars. We're talking billions of dollars. And that it's going to destroy our economy.
Well,
I just don't know how they could have allowed it to get this far. You know, and that kind of mentality is what I need.
do you remember when it was started?
Gosh, that was back in 2007 or 2008.
And who was the governor?
I can't recall
I think it was your old friend.
Linda? Oh yeah. You know what? To tell you the truth, as far as I am the vice chairman of the Maui County Republican Party. And I'll tell you what, when I'm running for office, I tell people this. I'm not here to party. I am not here to party. I'm not into a party. I'm here to take care of business. You know, this mentality of taking money from people and using it for that's got to go. That mentality has to go. In fact, I am not making fundraisers.
Oh.
I'm not. In fact, I have an arrangement here with the Lanakila Club, just right here next to the next building, and they are a state-run organization that helps mentally challenged people to get incorporated into the community to be able to handle the challenges of you know, having a job and being a viable member in the community. I think that's a great organization right down here. And they have a couple of nonprofit arms where they sell vegetables, you know, and it gives their clients the chance to interact with the community, you know, helping with money transactions and things like that. So I'm going to be having my first meet and greet over here. I'll probably have a couple of them. You know, I feel more better about that. I feel a lot better about doing that kind of thing, helping promote these kind of organizations, than to put something in the paper and say, well, I'm going to have a fundraiser, and you know, you can come and you spend $20 or $25, you know, we'll take your donation. You know, I don't want to go into office with this mentality of taking people's money. That's not the kind of mentality I'm going to go in with. I'm going to go in with the attitude of, you know what, people need money. They need their money to work for them. You know.
So you want to be definitely a public servant for sure.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna shake things up. I'm definitely gonna shake things up, I guarantee you.
Well, when I hear that, I always think, I can shake things up without having to be in office. But obviously, I made a decision years ago not to run for office unless I was drafted. Because, you know, there's some people who run because they think they can do the job. So, I'm trying to understand. You're running because you want to put someone in the seat. You have specific things that you're looking to accomplish specifically? You were talking about wanting to address homeless. Anything specifically that you want to do?
I do. I think that our homeless situation right now, there are a lot of people out there doing work for the homeless. There's a lot of initiatives. A lot of people are doing things. You have, you know, security people, you have faith-based organizations, you have social organizations, you have private organizations, all doing things for the homeless. And the problem is...
I hear that, but I don't really know what that means.
The problem is this. There isn't that governing or leadership mentality of, listen, we have an army of people out there that can attack this situation. There's no coordination. If we have people if we have leadership where all of our efforts are focused in the same areas, we can take care of the situation, because we are #1 in the nation per capita for homelessness. You know,
Is that right?
We are #1 in the nation.
That's not good.
It's not good. And, you know, I deal with them every day. I deal with homeless people every day. And I see amazing people. We have amazing people who are doing things for them. But, you know, the problem is this. We've got an army There's an army of people out there, but there's no leadership. There's nobody saying, listen, let's all focus on the same things.
And you feel that being in office would help you to do that better?
You know, I can't predict the future,
No, but I'm just...
but I do know this, you know, that's another thing that me and my wife, we were on Oahu, we cried. We drove by Ala Moana, we drove by Kapolei and Ever Beach, and I cried. I literally cried at looking at all the people who are homeless. You know, I'm at the Republican convention, okay, and in this beautiful building, and I decided to take a little break, and I'm on the balcony, and just maybe about 25 feet away from me, there's a sidewalk, and I see these homeless people walking up and down. You know, here we are, we're sitting here in this beautiful building, you know, talking about, you know, these political things, and here we are, there's these people walking right in front of us, homeless, you know, and a guy in his underwear and a jacket pushing a cart.
Wow.
I cried. I can't help. Something's got to be done. I can't tell you specifically, but I want to be in a position to make a difference.
Gotcha.
I don't want to sit back and talk about it.
I bet all you out there realize that is the thing that we all need to do. Sitting at home and not voting and not being part of it because you don't think you can make a difference. You can make a difference.
Yeah.
People like Gil who are running for political office to make a difference. For him, for me, for you. Be sure you take a look at the candidates that you see out there and vote with your heart to make a difference. Really, I think, very important. These are not the kind of times to be sitting at home and saying, oh, we can't make any difference.
Yep.
Because we are the only ones that can make a difference. Otherwise, it'd be like a bulldozer. And our society is changing just radically. I mean, we see it in the news. We feel insulated here, but like you said, we're the #1 homeless
Per
place
capita,
in this
we are
country.
the #1 state in America right now with homelessness.
Maybe it's because we have good beaches, but they block everyone off from the
I
beaches.
tell you, you know,
Oahu is scary when I see the homeless situation.
it is. I mean, you could be walking down Waikiki, down Kalakaua Avenue, and there's this guy sitting on the sidewalk in his own urine and his own vomit right in the middle of the road. You know, it's terrible. And you know what? Concerning homelessness, listen, I own a home here. All right, and I know many people here in Maui, here are homeowners. You know what? This is our home. In your home, in your house, would you just allow anybody in and go in your refrigerator, use your bathroom, mess up your house? You know, we as people need to take control of this situation because I hate to say this, but our government is not helping us. They're not helping us enough. They're managing the situation. They're not trying to take care of it. They're managing it. And if you ask them solutions, they don't really have any solution. And you know, we as a people need to come together and make it happen. And you know, my whole thing about voting is this, is that, you know, as vice chairman of the Republican Party, one of the things I've been doing for the last 2 years is going and talking to people and encouraging them to vote. And my response has overwhelmingly been this: I don't vote. I don't trust my government. Those crooks, those backstabbers. You know, I helped and I supported my government, but they always let me down. And I looked them right in the eye. I looked them right in their eye. I pointed them and tell them, you know what? This is what I have to tell you about that. And this is what I want to tell you about that. I don't blame you one bit. But if we're gonna make a change, we need people. We need good local people. We need people to get out and vote and put the right people in office.
You're the first one on the ballot, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
See that? Alphabetical. You didn't think you could get to be first at R. That's good.
I know. But people need to get involved. I'm just one person. You and me, we're two people, but there's only so much that we could accomplish. But we really,
unless we hold hands and have common purpose and cooperate. And that's a funny word.
Yeah.
Cooperate. That doesn't mean lay down
No.
to your principles. It means honor each other and see what we can do to cooperate. Both of us be able to operate, even though we may or may not have the same position. We have to find a way to make it good for everyone. What did Jesus say? He said a lot of things.
He did.
But for sure, he said we're brothers and sisters.
Yes.
And that we need to understand that the most important thing has nothing to do with accumulation on earth. It's using our heart and showing our love for each other. I'm real glad to hear that you're running, because I know you're running for the family. You're running so your son is going to be famous.
Yes. I'll tell you what, I told people this too. You know what? I really don't have anything to lose. If I don't win, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna grab my paddleboard. I'm gonna go surfing.
And if you do win, you probably grab your paddleboard and go surfing.
I'll tell you what. If I win, you guys can take this to heart. If I win, I will refuse the office unless I win by a landslide.
How do you define landslide?
Everybody better vote for me.
Now, I've kind of wiggled you through this conversation. Anything that you'd like to be able to say to these voters or tell them that's very important that you want to be sure you tell them?
Well, the most important thing is don't just vote. Don't just get involved because, somebody told me to get involved, and then you just go through the motions. One of the principles that I hold very highly from the platform of the Republican Party is kuleana. Every individual kuleana, everybody has a responsibility. You have a responsibility, first of all, to yourself. You need to be accountable to yourself more than anything else. And after that, you need to build bridges with your family and your friends and your community, and realize that we all play a part. We all have a say. That is the number one excuse that people have for not voting. Oh, my vote's not going to mean anything.
That's what I hear.
It is the number one reason, and that's not true. You got to put if you don't put your whole being and your whole heart into it, I don't think it's going to mean anything.
There was a song written. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out.
Yeah.
You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
I'm laughing, but you got to put yourself into things.
Yeah.
You can't just sit in the sidelines and bitch.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say bitch?
That's all right.
I guess I am. I got away. Censors didn't catch me. But truthfully, I think that involvement is everything. And
Yeah.
it's nice to know there are people like you who are involved in our community and have been and will be. Like you say, no matter what, you're involved.
I
It's
do.
refreshing.
I've always been somebody who's had a very difficult time saying no. That simple word of 2 letters. Usually when people come up to me and ask me, my opinion or my help and stuff, I'm usually, well, we can do this, we can do that, okay. And my response is usually what time, where, and and how much, you know.
Well, God's watching you.
So, you know, when I met you, that was a very profound time for me. I had been a man of service before that incident for a long time, but you know, I was struggling. You know, like many people out on our island home are struggling financially and with their families, and you know, we're struggling here in paradise, right? And just when I thought things might be able to get better, they got worse. I ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
But one very, very profound thing that happened was when I was in the care facility, the nurses came up to me and said, you know, we have somebody that we want to put in the room with you as a roommate. And I said, sure, well, that's fine. And it was, I call him Uncle.
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie Maxwell.
Wow.
And, you know, they don't call him the kind the talking story man for nothing. We spent hours and hours at a time sitting up and talking story. And he, in those twilight times of his life, was able to, you know, endow me with, you know, that's another thing I'm so thankful for, is that people like Uncle have blessed me with their wisdom and their understanding through their experiences and their wisdom and understanding of the world. It has blessed me tremendously. And,
Great.
and you know, Uncle Charlie told me this. You know, I told him all the things that I was involved with, and he said, "You're not doing enough. You need to get out there, and you need to do more." And I told him, "What? But Uncle, I stay doing this and that and that." He says, "No, you know, you cannot be that kind. You can't be lazy. You need to go out there, and you need to go out there and talk to people. You need to get involved because people need you." And that really spoke to my heart. And I have found that no matter how busy I get, there's always more. There's always more I can do. So, I'm doing that.
You carry what's your son's name? Gil?
My son is Michael.
Michael.
We call him Pili.
We should put signs up for him so he gets famous. I'm fooling. I think it's great that you're involved in that. You're not full. You still have room to help some more. It's a great thing.
I think you need to, here's another thing that Uncle Charlie told me. He said, you know, in order for you to give out more, in order for you to have more to give, you need to give out. You need to give, because that's what true aloha is. Aloha is giving. It's not taking. The more you give, the more you're going to receive. So,
well, may he rest in peace.
Yeah.
I know over the years he mellowed and he kept growing.
Yeah, he was a wonderful man.
He was a good guy.
And I think his life crossed mine at just the right time, you know, and helped compel me towards the path I'm in now.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Thank you for taking the time
Thank you.
to be here with me and with you guys. Aren't we happy to see GIL REBOLLEDO running for State House of Representatives, District 8, from Waihee, all of Wailuku, and
Yeah.
Kahakalua.
Yeah.
Well, you guys who are in that district probably know. And you who aren't in that district, if you don't have a chance to vote for GIL, remember, you probably know people in that district, and share with them so they can get to know. Gilbert REBOLLEDO, State House District number 8. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
God bless you.
God bless.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again. Aloha.
Aloha. That was awesome.